Welcome to this tutorial. I'm actually going to make a series here that is some stuff you probably haven't seen before, and that's why it can give you an invisible edge. Invisible edge is literally an edge in the market and in your trading that other people do not see. It's invisible to them. And as most traders know, you've got to have an edge in trading, some sort of edge. There's many different ways you can do it. I'm going to show you one here today. So let's get started. All right, so as you can see, the market I've got, the daily chart, you can do this on various markets, different intervals, so we're not going to address that issue. I just want to get to the main point here. So a lot of people will put indicators on a chart, and those indicators are related to the price action. And that's the normal way to do it. No problem. Let's do that. So we'll put a good old-fashioned MACD on here just for fun and giggles. Again, you can do this on other indicators than the MACD. So we're just going to plop that puppy on there. Now we're going to do something a little different, so I'm going to walk you through this and show you how to set it up specifically. So we'll use the regular parameters. Again, if you want to experiment with those, great, no problem. I'm going to turn off the price markers, that's not too important, but here you do have to change these. So I'm going to make the zero lines very important. I'm going to change that to crimson. Again, solid, whatever, fine. I'm going to make it a little thicker, so we'll make it 2. Okay, and then again, a lot of this is your choice, but for the trading method I'm going to show you, I would recommend that you at least start with these parameters. So the MACD line is what we're going to use. So we're going to make it black. And I know that goes out the top of your video, but you can see it here. We use a line, and for width we want that to be more, so we'll make that 4. Now average and diff or difference, we're going to remove those. A couple different ways that you can remove them is, number one, NinjaTrader is awesome because you can actually change the color, so-called color, to transparent, and that means you just don't see it. If your trading or your charting platform doesn't have that option, then the way to do it is just to make the plot style and size of that plot, the line, I would make like little dots. So change line to something like dots, and set it to as small a size as possible, and then make it the same color as the background of your chart. So that's how you can do it if you don't have the option of making it transparent. Or sometimes in some charting platforms, there's a little checkbox where you can show it or not show it, and you could just uncheck that. Okay, so again, diff or difference, we don't want to see that with this particular type of trade setup that we're doing here. And I think that looks pretty good. So it's going to look something like this. And I'll leave the parameters on there so that you can see exactly what it is. And there we go. Okay, so for the trading system, I'm going to show you, it's not really a trading system. It's just a technique. But for what we're going to do, we want to keep the zero line there. We want that visible. I'm only plotting one line, literally the MACD line. Now, here's where the interesting part comes in. You ready for this? So this is plotting the moving average, convergence, divergence relative to the price action. Now we're going to add a second indicator, but this one is not going to be an indicator of price like most indicators are. We're going to do something that hardly anyone does, and that's why nobody else is going to see it. And it gives us an edge. So we're going to plot, and you can do this with all kind of different indicators, but for today's purposes, we'll put a Bollinger Band. We'll measure the Bollinger, but not of price, but of the MACD line. So this is called an indicator of an indicator. So let me show you how to do that. So we go into our indicators, all right, and then we come into our good old Bollinger Band. Now, I got to do this here, so, whoops, didn't work. There we go. Okay, so I put it into this configured here. These are what's available. This is what we're actually plotting. And again, you can experiment with your settings if you want to. I'm going to actually change this to 20. And unbar close is fine. By the way, unbar close, this is NinjaTrader 8 and great charting platform. I love it. So if you're going to day trade this, I would do it on price change. But for This is a daily chart, so we can keep it on bar close because we're not trading inter-bar or inter-day for this. Okay, so auto scale, that's fine. Displacement 0. Panel. Now this we need to change. So this we've got to, actually I might be able to keep that the same, I don't know, but we're going to put it on 2. Okay, that's the panel, so it's going to go overlay it on MACD here. Price markers, I don't need to see those. I try to keep everything as simple as possible and keep everything off. I'm going to keep it on the same scale justification as the MACD. Definitely make it visible. I'm not going to draw the middle line, so we'll take that off again with your preferred choice. So color, we're going to change that puppy to transparent because I don't want to see that. Don't care. Doesn't matter for this. We're going to keep line as solid. All that kind of stuff, but I'll make it a little bigger, so a little thicker. We'll go with 2 here, and then the lower band will do the same thing. So we're going to make that 2. And then I don't want to use goldenrod. I want it to make it a little more visible, so we'll go with blue, and we'll go with blue. And, oops, where'd it go? Where's my color? Oh, I got to go all the way up here. All right, so there you go. So we'll make that blue. And then you've got to remember that we've also, this is a separate line, so we're going to make the width 2. And we're ready to rock and roll. Alrighty. So that is pretty much it. Let me just click apply and look at it. Nope, did not work. Oh, that's why. Okay, see, this is where the rub is. So right now, even though I've plotted it in the second panel, it is still measuring the Bollinger Band formula on what? On our stock. We don't want to measure it on the stock. We want to do something different that everybody else in their parakeet is doing. So we're going to click on that. And then you see input series right now. The input is based on the stock. So we're going to click on indicators and use the input series into the Bollinger Band of the MACD instead of the stock or future or commodity or whatever you happen to be trading. Okay, and again, that's pretty inconsequential. So then we say, okay, well, we've got the MACD on there. We want to measure the Bollinger Band of the indicator. So indicator of an indicator. All right, so there we go. Bring it up. You can change this if you want to. And here's where the plot is. So it's plotting the MACD, close whatever, okay. And I believe that's all we need to do. Let's click on OK, and there we go. We are golden. We're golden. All right, so wowee, now what do we have? Well, now what we got is we've got the Bollinger Band of the MACD line instead of the Bollinger Band of price. So now, how to trade this. First of all, let me just be very transparent here and very clear about this. This in and of itself is not a complete trading methodology. For a complete trading methodology, you've got to have risk management, money management, work on your psychology, obviously. And I never just trade with one indicator. And of course, price is always king. So, but this will show if, what that volatility, since Bollinger Band is a volatility instrument, of the MACD is. So we have set, and you can see the settings here for extra reference. So we have set it to 2 standard deviations and 20-period moving average. So it's measuring it of the MACD. Notice we get like Bollinger Band squeeze here, but it's of the MACD, and the 0 line is below us. That's very important. And then it starts to break out of 2 standard deviations. So that's 2 standard deviations of the MACD line, which the MACD line is moving average, and the moving averages that we're using here are these numbers right here, 12, 26, 9. And the moving average convergence, divergence. So it's really talking about whether these moving averages are coming together, convergence, or if they're moving apart, divergence. And that's what it's measuring, literally. So in this particular situation, It's actually just measuring, because we didn't put the what's sometimes called the signal line, or what did they call it here in it's a moving average of it. What did they call it in here with NinjaTrader? Different languages for different things. So average, yeah, they just call it average. So we're not using that. That's the 9 period moving average. That's the 9. We're not using the 9. So we're just looking at the convergence and divergence between the 12 and 26 moving averages. That's all we're plotting, which is what that black line represents. Okay, and then what's the volatility of that? So now the next important thing to recognize is where we are in relation to the 0 line. So again, this is the stock McDonald's, obviously, but you can do this with pretty much any instrument. I just recommend that you do trade a financial instrument that has good volume, so there's good liquidity. You don't get too much slippage, or there's not a big ask bid spread or bid ask spread for hopefully obvious reasons. And now this is the tool. So we've run out of time for today's video. I've shown you how to set it up. Now in the next video, there's going to be a little 2-part series here. Maybe we'll go to 3. We'll see. I'll show you some techniques on how to trade it and some little tricks that a lot of people won't realize at first. How to read the indicator on an indicator. There are certain ways to read this that are not obvious, and I'm going to reveal that to you in the next video. But no, let me say one more thing here that's really important. So you see that I've been using NinjaTrader, which I love NinjaTrader, and it has a lot of flexibility in its functionality. It's one of the things I love about it. So I don't know if whatever you're charting, if you're not using NinjaTrader 8, your charting platform may not have that functionality of being able to do an indicator of an indicator. I don't know all the charting platforms, so I'm going to kind of rely on you guys, actually. If you would, if you want to try this out, check it out on other charting platforms, whatever you're using currently. You can maybe type into the comments whether that functionality exists or doesn't exist on the charting platform that you're using. I don't know all the charting platforms and what functionality they have. This is the one that I use. Okay, so you can help each other out that way and let people know that, yep, does work on this one, doesn't have that functionality in this other one, and so forth, and that we're all working together here and helping one another. All right, so yeah, there'll be a part 2 here. We'll get more into the strategy part of it. How do you read this? How do you trade this? But before you do that, I encourage you to go ahead and to click on the little eye in the top right-hand corner. If you hover over that, a little eye will pop up. And if you click on that, I will give you one of my favorite trade strategies called the rubber band trade. It's absolutely free. Actually, I do have it in one of my courses, but I'm going to give it to you guys because you're here on YouTube and supporting me here on YouTube, even though, well, I don't know what support means since it's free. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your interactions, and I just love doing this. So I'll give you my free rubber band trade. I take this trade pretty much every day. I just love this trade. It works beautifully, super high win-loss ratio. So if you click on the little eye, or the link is also, by the way, in the description of YouTube here, or wherever. We'll probably put this other places as well. So wherever you are seeing this video, in the description, we'll put the link there as well. So hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for part 2. Part 1 was basically how to set it up. And part 2 will be how to trade it.